Welcome everybody, this is day 2, it's the live call. As you can figure out, I have been adding these videos on YouTube and posting them in the email. If you haven't signed up to the emails yet, please, I can put the link in the description here if you would like. It's just so that you can keep track, you can revisit this, and I add these videos to YouTube so that you can listen to it again. There's a lot of gold that comes out of these videos. Even sometimes I kind of listen to it again because I go, oh, that was a good line that I came out with. I know, I'm one of those. It doesn't matter. You know, like I said yesterday, no more masks. This is me. This is who I'm meant to be. And this is what it is. So I'm going to start today with a question from Jackie. So today, the video was all about your fuel. The theme for the day is about fuel. It's about nutrition, right? And there is a lot to be said about the way that society and we and us and me, for instance, have viewed nutrition up until I started on this journey, right? So nutrition used to be like everything to me. It was like the outer, the knowledge, like, right? I'm a woman of science. I love science. I love understanding what, you know, how it works in our bodies, how nutrition actually goes in. That's why at the end of the day, I love being a dietitian, and I became a food technologist because I was so focused on the outer, on the food and everything like that. Doesn't mean that I completely let all of that go. That is not what I'm saying. I usually just say to people, like I said in the video, you take what you want and you lose what you don't. So what I usually say to you is, I want you to listen to people who empower you to listen to yourself. And I'm not saying only listen to me. I'm the, you know, one all and end all, and this is the way that I'm saying is the way that it's meant to be. No, that's exactly not what I'm saying. What I'm here throughout these 3 days or 4 days, because as you know, we are going to have a 4th day of a bonus, is to empower you to listen to yourself. Right? So getting caught up in those calories, getting caught up in the macro, getting caught up in even the micronutrients, or, you know, how many carbs, how many fats and things like that, it's just going to give you stress. And stress is actually one of the components that end up causing you to maybe gain weight. Another thing that came up yesterday is with one person that's not here in this challenge at the moment, but she is in my other group program that I'm closing that one and creating this new one, is, am I not going to focus on weight loss anymore? I think that weight, right, is a symptom of something that goes on inside. Weight is a symptom. And what I believe in is addressing the root cause. Sometimes when we start focusing on just that symptom, we immediately go for the diet. We immediately go for the foods that we want to eat and all of that, without really noticing whether the foods are making us feel good or making us feel bad. I have a few notes here, right, to actually talk to you guys about. That's why I keep looking down. And it's not like I want you to stop caring about losing weight. That's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying here is I want you to start caring about what goes on inside you and what goes on, how you're treating yourself, how you're trusting yourself, how you're trusting your body's cues in order to do that. And usually when you start creating that peaceful relationship with food, you start realizing that the weight didn't really matter. Right? And with the weight in itself, like I said yesterday, you probably look at photos right now of when you were younger and you kind of go like, oh, I wish I was like that now, because I used to think I was fat, right? For instance, I'm completely against fat shaming. I'm completely against fat phobia and all of that stuff, but I do believe in choice. And I believe that if you want to choose to release some weight, if you want to choose to be at whatever weight size shape for your body that you want to be, it is your choice. And I want you to empower yourself to make a choice. But that choice, you know, weight loss can come from a positive mindset, or approached with a healthy mindset, or an unhealthy mindset. The unhealthy mindset would be you restricting and dieting and being unkind to yourself and unreasonable and saying no to going out with your friends because you have to follow a plan and all of that. But with a healthy mindset is, what is this food going to be? So being patient, listening to your body, being compassionate about what goes on. Right? So there are two ways to approach weight loss. I don't specifically hone in on weight loss in my new program until like week 7, because first we need to think about what's going on inside, not what is on the external, right? Because if knowledge was power, all of us would be rich and skinny. I hate that saying, but there's nothing else to say, right? If that's your wish. But awareness is power. And your inner awareness is what fuels everything else. Hence why I talk about the mind-body connection in this video of the day. So I did want to, give this initial amen, LOL, it's so true. Yes. Because I want to just say this before, because there is a bit of a confusion. Oh, Caroline is anti-diet culture. Caroline doesn't believe in, in the fact that I want to be a size 8. No, that is exactly the opposite. I believe in empowering you to make your own decision, right? Intuitive eating. So Jackie says, my question is about how you manage intuitive eating and a meal catch-up. I have organized to meet a friend for lunch at 12:30, but I'm feeling hungry at about the 4 scale at 11:30. What do I do? Right? So in that case, you could ask yourself, can you have some fruit? Or if you start feeling a little bit hungry, can you have something around that is actually going to start fueling you a little bit? And then you can go and eat. Right? Eat when you're hungry. It's easier said than done. Right? Eat when you're hungry, stop when you're full. Ugh. That's what everybody says. But seriously, it's not that simple. It is as simple as you saying, I am at a 4 scale. So for me not to get to my lunch at 12:30, famished, how about I just eat a little piece of fruit? Or how about I eat an apple? Or how about I eat whatever you want to eat, right? I'm not here to judge your food choices whatsoever. Right? I am here to empower you to make your own decisions. And by 11:30, if you're hungry, why not? Right? Intuitive eating is a set of 10 principles. It is not exactly what I do. Okay. What I do has parts of intuitive eating. What I do with my clients in my new program is going to be, parts of intuitive eating, but I do not believe that it's all about the internal cues. Hence why I do talk about nutrition as well. I am a dietitian. I believe in empowering you. I believe that you need to make your own choices, right? So intuitive eating it's very black and white. And I don't really like the all or nothing mindset, because otherwise it would just be another diet, right? And it's not a diet. It's a lifestyle. That's a question for another time to talk about, like, it's a diet, it's a lifestyle, whatever. Like, Noom is still a diet, people. Can I just make that known here, right? But what can you take from those diets? If you are a serial dieter, if you have been a serial dieter all your life, like I have been, what have I learned from it? And this is what we have today. So from that, Jackie, if you're on, let me know if that helped you. Just keep asking more questions if that didn't, or if you still have any doubts or anything that I can answer for you. Katie, on that note, said, similar to this, how do you manage intuitive eating with family? There are 4 of us, and I figure if we were all to eat intuitively, we'd all be on different schedules. How can I balance eating meals as a family with trying to intuitively listen to my body and teaching the boys to do the same? I bet you that the boys, specifically Katie, they will already tell you when they're hungry. because kids are like the best intuitive eaters. And like I said, I don't specifically do intuitive eating. I do some parts of what intuitive eating says. I can post a link here to what intuitive eating and the principles. Intuitive eating says to reject the diet mentality and stuff like that, as opposed to I say, okay, I'm anti-diet culture, but I do believe that science behind the nutrition, behind whatever works in your body, can work for some people. And if a person comes to me and they're diabetic, I'm not going to turn around to them and say, yeah, go eat all of the, the cake that you want and all that kind of stuff. No, I'm not anti-health. I'm anti-diet culture. It's not specifically like, I hope this is making sense. But anyway, your boys, I bet your boys, they are automatically intuitive eaters, because kids, like, they cry when they're hungry, then you give them food, and then they stop crying, right? And then they cry again when they're hungry again, right? So, yeah, exactly. And your kids will tell you when they're hungry. So what you can do is like the kitchen is not open 24/7, because that's what I say to my kids too, because I am not their maid, right? But if you're hungry in between, our lunchtime and meal times, right? If you're hungry in between meal times, you know that these fruits are here for you, right? So, but I don't want fruit, I want Oreos. I go like, then you're not hungry. So it's all about teaching and leading by example, right? If we start going, okay, keep that bowl of fruit over there, they can always reach for it if they are actually hungry. If they go like, oh, I'm hungry, say, okay, well, we have our actual meal, our actual lunch coming up soon, our actual dinner coming up soon. But if you're still hungry right now, why don't you eat something here, right? Because, this is it. And then it comes to the point where, like, okay, if they say, I want Oreos, they say, okay, do you want the taste of Oreos? Or like, because sometimes it's okay to give them an Oreo. I don't mind. Like yesterday, my kids came back from school. It was like essentially their first day back to school. And they came back and my son said, Mommy, I really would like some ice cream. So I was like, really, Benji? And he's like, yeah. I was like, well, go eat some ice cream. And you know what? Instead of actually eating the whole thing of ice cream as if I had said, no, only after dinner, right? He actually ate a little bit and put the rest away, right? So this is something that it is gradual. Don't compare my 10th stage to your first stage, because I started on stage number 1 and then I'm probably at a 10, but you guys are starting at stage number 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. However it is, do not compare someone's end result to your starting result. Comparison is the thief of joy. And joy is the best feeling there is, right? Okay, so does that help Katie? Please let me know. Jackie, what she has, Katie says, interesting. I wonder if my 2 and 4-year-olds would have the same kind of self-awareness. Well, how about you start giving them, like, if they want anything, you can start creating that awareness for them, right? By saying, oh, have a piece of fruit. Or you want to have an Oreo. Okay, we'll have one Oreo. Give them one Oreo. Sorry, you can see Oreos are in my mind, because yesterday I ate some Oreos and it was so good. I hadn't eaten Oreos in a long time. I don't know why. I just saw the Oreos there. I probably had them in the cupboard for a long time, and I saw them yesterday after dinner. I was like, oh, I really would like some Oreos. That's nice. So I had the Oreos. Anywho. Okay, so Jackie says, my 5 bullet points is number 1, fresh is best. Number 2, meal plan with flexibility. Number 3, body needs water to function. Number 4, your body is a machine. Fuel it with the right fuel. Brilliant. And number 5, too much dairy makes me sluggish. Great. So the way that Jackie put it here, right? It's like she is aware of what works for her body and what doesn't, I don't believe in restriction. As you know, restriction is a recipe for binge eating. When we restrict, we end up becoming not only like your body is hungry, but your mind is hungry as well by default, right? So if she says too much dairy makes me sluggish, obviously she figures out that it's better for her to avoid the dairy consciously and unconsciously because she doesn't want to feel sluggish. Is this a diet? No, it freaking isn't. It's a choice, right? It is only a diet when you're actually feeling ill about restricting something and you're feeling like, oh, I really would love to be eating that ice cream, but I can't because XYZ, right? So head hunger. I talk about head hunger all the time. It is the hardest. Yes, head hunger is more like, what do you mean by your head hunger? You mean like emotional hunger? What do you mean by that? Expand that for me. Then another question from Jackie is, how do you know what scale of hungry you are? Is there a way to work it out? It is a practice. Practice makes permanent. And practice is like, you know, repetition is the mother of all skill. If you're constantly just tuning in to what your body is telling you, right? Maybe you just, like, I usually say to people, just say, am I hungry? You're going to get a yes or a no. It's a yes, no question. So your head, your unconscious mind is going to go, yes. Okay, how hungry I am? How hungry am I? 0 to 10. 4, great. So that's me right now. I am a 4 out of 10 because I actually said to myself, oh, I am that little bit hungry, but I could just wait until I finish the live, you know? So yeah, so I'm a 4 out of 10 right now. So that's when I usually would eat. So I have some snacks here around me and stuff like that too. But yeah, so it is a practice. It's about, you know, you tuning in and just figuring out, what does that look like to you? What does hunger feel like to you at different stages, at different, you know, from 0 to 10? Okay, I hope that helps. Jackie, pop it down if you need more on this. So Katie, the concept of food controlling our mood really resonated with me. Like you said, it is obvious with pleasure-inducing foods, but when I think about eating food that forcing myself to consume because it's healthy, even though I don't really want it, yes, drinking water comes to mind. I've definitely forced myself to drink gallons of water I didn't want in the name of health and dieting. It doesn't make me feel good, even though my brain tells me I made the right choice. Not really a question, but rather an observation. So there are ways to drink water. Water really is a little bit of a fuel for your body. It is, you know, but I don't believe in going like, oh, you have to drink 3 liters of water a day, right? That's not the case. And I know that many dieters and dietitians will say that to you, but essentially the amount of water that you need for your body, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can drink just plain water. You can drink like tea, or you can drink, like, I know it's so bad, and I don't want to encourage you to drink soft drinks, but even soft drink is going to give you hydration, and fruit gives you hydration, right? And even coffee will give you, not really particularly, but it will still give you liquids, right? So liquid is not necessarily just water. Yes, I highly recommend drinking water, but when you are thirsty. But sometimes we can confuse hunger with thirst. So you're saying here that it's your mental hunger, the cravings, definitely not physiological, but totally mental. So have you actually figured out whether you're actually hungry or you're thirsty? Because it's the same synapses, like it's the same response that your nervous system will give, like it's the same like trigger your nervous system will give whether you're hungry or you're thirsty. That's why you have many people saying, oh, drink some water and learn the difference, right? But sometimes it could be that your body is just craving the water So you think that you're hungry, right? I definitely chugged huge amounts of water because someone told me I needed to drink half my body weight in ounces every day, and it did not feel good. Okay, that is like, again, that is a one all end all and all that kind of stuff. For some people that works really well. This is what we get taught in university, you know, but it's not necessarily water. It is liquids, right? And it is about listening to your body. I have started doing that. I have a glass of water, and then if I'm hungry, then I eat. Great. Tea is definitely my go-to when I know that I need to get more water, even when I don't want water, especially in the winter. Watermelon's another go-to option for me. Exactly. So do you see how water is not just in the water, right? So yes, half your weight, half your weight in ounces. That is like something that is thrown very lightly, but it's not necessarily just water. Like you can drink tea, you can drink like flavored water, like, you know, and it does help to drink water. I know that some people don't usually drink water normally, but if you are coming to a point where you're overeating or you're emotionally eating or you are feeling like you're getting cravings, maybe drinking a little bit of water is going to start nourishing your body a little bit more, because water does help. Our bodies are composed. I don't believe in people who tell you that your body is made of 80% of freaking water, because that is so not true. Even newborns are not 80% water. Right? Listen to science. This is not it. These influencers kill me. These people, I want to try and sell you like alkaline water. Oh my God. Don't even get me started on that one. Okay. But, you know, people trying to sell you whatever nowadays, and then they start creating their own science. It's not true. Your body is not made up of 80% of water. Depending on your life stage, is 45 to 55, 60% of water, right? So please, people. Okay, Katie, let me know. Love Renty Caroline. Tiffany, you know me very well. Okay, Katie says, regarding the hunger scale, I have times when I don't particularly feel hungry, but I start to get a headache if I haven't eaten. Oh my God, I hadn't even read this. But okay, I'm watching now, I'm reading now. But I start to get a headache if I haven't eaten. Is that a sign of hunger that I just don't really equate to hunger? Or is it more of a sign of sugar withdrawal or caffeine withdrawal or something like that? I've definitely gotten into the habit of eating something to try to ward off the start of a headache. Thoughts about that as a hunger cue. Usually headaches can be withdrawals, yes. Headaches are not usually hunger, unless you're like cast away and you have Wilson next to you and you haven't eaten for days, then it could be, right? But usually headaches can be a sign of, if you're going by your body's physiological response, a headache is a sign of not enough water intake. Shock horror. Yes. So Katie, if you start feeling a headache, Wilson, yes. So, we're not Tom Hanks here, people. So I think that it's more of a thirst cue than a hunger cue. And what I said before about the fact that your body and, your nervous system will tell your body that you're hungry, but you're actually thirsty and all that kind of stuff. Like, and Lisa was saying, now she drinks some water and then she waits and then she goes, okay, well, now I can eat, because it was actually hunger. When you're starting to make sense of what is hunger, what is thirst, this is a good strategy to adopt, right? I'm not saying, if you're hungry, go drink some water and learn the difference because you got to lose some weight. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying is, when you're trying, diets make us suppress the hunger cues. Yes? So when you're starting to get in touch with the hunger cues again, it is worth it for you to start noticing whether you're thirsty, drinking some water, seeing if you do need to have, you know, because sometimes it is just thirst. And headaches are usually withdrawals, yes, but also dehydration. Most likely than not is dehydration. Unless you're going like because you're saying a sugar withdrawal or a caffeine withdrawal, unless you have been like 24 hours without any caffeine or 24 hours without sugar and you had like incredible amounts of these substances, then it wouldn't potentially be a sign of that. It depends on your metabolism. It depends on your, you know, body specifically. So let me know if that helps, Katie. And Katie also said her 5 points is number 1, protein is my best friend when it comes to feeling full and satisfied for longer. Brilliant. Usually protein and fiber are great to do that. Number 2, sugar is the opposite for me. It lights up every addictive part of my brain and then I crash hard after overindulging. Now let me ask you, have you been restricting sugar all your life? So your body goes like, I'm a rebel. I love my sugar, so I am just going to, you know, you have the little inner mean girl, Regina George, and you have the Katie here, you know, like if you've watched Mean Girls, you know what I'm talking about. If not, this makes no sense. The devil and the angel, right? You have like, ooh, go get some sugar. And the angel, no, willpower, right? Have like Power Rangers, willpower. And the devil goes like, please, grab some. And then you kind of go, ugh, I'm gonna just have the sugar because I am feeling defeated, or I am feeling any sort of emotional, or I am feeling any sort of down, and sugar will give me a pick-me-up, and I'm just gonna do that. And then once you have a little bit, you're gonna have it all because that's what you conditioned yourself to do, right? So something to think about. Number 3, meal planning is definitely helpful for me because it reduces the decision fatigue. Great. If I already know what we are having for dinner, that all ingredients, yeah, perfect. Number 4, spices are the spice of life. I don't like bland food, and variety is key in sustaining eating habits for me. Great. And number 5, I love fruit. Shifting my treat yourself from processed sugars to fruits has been helpful for me. Okay, but are you shifting because society told you to, and because you think that, you know, having a treat is actually going to make you gain weight? And that's just an example, crude example, and having an apple is not, right? So you can definitely affect the way that you process food in you with the power of your mind, right? This is way too advanced for probably like a free, you know, course like this, a free challenge like this. But I am feeling the need to say this, right? I feel, oh, I'm even gonna sneeze. Okay. I feel that you decide what works for you. And the pizza in itself will not cause weight gain. What causes weight gain is the judgments and projections and expectations that you have over the pizza. Because people have told you that pizza is unhealthy and you have to have cauliflower pizza, which is just not good. And you believe that. And now every time that you eat a pizza, you're running that program in your mind going like, oh, I'm so gonna gain weight. I'm so gonna gain weight. This pizza, oh, it's so good, but 5 years on my hips, oh, 5 minutes on my lips, 5 years on my hips, oh my gosh, and blah, 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 right? So I totally want you to think about what foods are you actually recognizing as good and bad. Remember, food is just food. So what are good and bad foods for you? And how can you shift that mentality? So I don't have any more questions here. So if you guys have any questions, let me see here if I missed anything. Interesting. Had hunger, we talked about that. Half my body weight in water. Tea is good. And then Lisa also said, I've started doing that. I have a glass of water, and then when I'm still hungry, I then eat. Great. So if you guys have any more questions, pop them here. Otherwise, I want to talk about your task for the day. Your task for the day is your hypnosis, about releasing negative thoughts that we've identified so far from yesterday and today. So there is a link to the YouTube video. Oh, there's another question. Okay. I've seen it. I'll reply in a minute. So do that hypnosis, even if it is tonight before you go to bed and you don't have kids around you. This one, it is focused attention. Katie, can you also let me know, and everyone else, if you managed to do the visualization easier after I gave you a few tips during the call yesterday as well. So this one is going to be all about you going into a garden and getting rid of all the negative thoughts that you have about food and everything like that. Hypnosis always works. It's whether you're choosing to believe me or listen to me or listen to yourself, right? And the old patterns. So before you go into the hypnosis, just say, is it all right for my unconscious mind for me to release this today and for me to be aware of it consciously? You're going to say yes. Right? Great. So, Katie, what do you think about intermittent fasting? So, intermittent fasting is, well, if you're going to name names, I actually end up doing intermittent fasting because I'm not usually hungry till midday and I go to sleep at about 9. So, if you think about it that way, right, I will tell you that I do intermittent fasting if that's the case, but I don't believe in, when you first start intermittent fasting, there are many studies that will prove the efficacy of intermittent fasting. The same way that in the 90s or in the 80s, there was studies that were proving the efficacy of the Atkins diet, or, the Dukan diet, or all these diets. They will all have research behind them proving them. So what I say is, if you want to do intermittent fasting, it's like take what you want and leave what you don't, right? What has it taught you? I've done intermittent fasting for a long time in my life, but I have taken what I want and left what I don't. I still have, not food, but I still have like my lemon drink in the morning. I love my lemon drink in the morning. And for some people that wouldn't be considered intermittent fasting, But I don't fully go like, okay, I am an intermittent fasting, person. I'm going to do that and da 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 da. But I believe in you starting to listen to your hunger cues, because just as a diet, intermittent fasting will literally teach you and condition you to stop listening to your hunger cues, because you're saying, I have to eat after 12 and I have to stop eating at 8. Well, yesterday before bed, I wanted an Oreo. I didn't kind of go like, oh, it's 8:30. I can't eat it. I just went and freaking ate because that's what my body wanted, right? Okay. Katie says, please let me know if that helps. Katie, I did. The tips were helpful. I plan to do yesterday's visualization again. Brilliant. You can do that visualization as many times as you'd like. That's what I generally find too. I just am not really hungry until around lunchtime, but everyone always talks about how important breakfast is. Breakfast is not necessarily meant to be in the morning. Breakfast is breaking the fast. When you sleep, you fast, unless you're eating and sleeping at the same time, which, trust me, it has happened in the, peak of my eating disorder. That has happened. But, you have that fasting period between your dinner and your breakfast the next day, right? So breakfast is breaking the fast. However you break that fast, whatever time you break that fast is entirely up to you. If you get the urge to go do a pee, to go pee in the middle of the night when you're asleep, are you going to just tell your body and go like, no, 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 body, I'm asleep now. I'm going to wait until I wake up in the morning to go and pee. No, you freaking get up, you go and pee, right? So it's the same with food. If you're not hungry in the morning and you actually know that this is the truth and you're not suppressing your hunger because you need to eat after 12 or whatever that is, then, you know, I'm fine with that. And, you know, take what you want, leave what you don't. That makes more sense to me. Breakfast not being a time of day. Exactly. No, and no food should be like a time of day kind of thing. Like hunger doesn't necessarily have a time of day, right? It's like, okay, I can have times of day and schedule for me to eat, and you can train your body to do that. But if you're hungry in between that, you eat. If you're not hungry in between that, you don't eat. Right? When you start listening to the cues, when you start noticing what foods are actually helping you instead of hindering you, right? It's what I was saying about weight loss. I don't want you to stop, you know, if you care about weight loss, then I don't want you to go like, oh, for me to join Caroline's program, I need to stop caring about weight loss. No, because that's something that's important to you, right? But my program specifically, we're not going to be focusing on weight loss. We're going to be focusing on you making peace with food, making peace with the fact that you can eat that chocolate and not, you know, feel guilt, and be confident in your body, so that the weight, if you have, you know, if you want anything to do with your body image, you're going to make a decision, an informed decision, whether that's the right thing for you. And usually, guys, it just starts falling off, like, because you're not paying attention to it, right? What you focus on, you find. Where your energy goes, where your focus goes, your energy flows. This is really, really important as well. If you're focusing on your weight, you're probably going to be putting more and more on, right? But if you're focusing on what exactly is your relationship with food, what exactly do you feel internally when you eat? And the same way, like from yesterday to today, what were emotions that were present when you were eating? I want you all to, you know, if you want to pop in the group, because then you go into that hypnosis of today and you release that. You let that go. Okay? So yes, I don't have any more questions. If you guys are good, I want you guys to give me a yes. It's all good. I don't have no more questions. Otherwise, I can answer whatever it is for you. And if not, you know, you can post. And I don't think that that there are any other questions here. Definitely not in the group and none in this live. So, okay. I'm good. Thank you. Yay. So I saw Katie and Christy as well doing a little thumbs up. So all good, guys. Ladies, beautiful, beautiful ladies. I want you to leave you with one specific question for you to ponder on. Actually, two, if that's all right with you. One of them is, what is nutrition to you? What's nutrition to you? What is nutrition to you? What's nutrition to you? And the other question is, what is the worst that can happen when I reach my goal? And with that in mind, I want you to go into the hypnosis and release those. Release whatever comes up. Because usually, what's the worst that can happen? That's when you find your limiting beliefs. I hope that helped. Thank you so much for being here on day 2. I will see you tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, exactly the same time tomorrow. And we have 2 more days together. So yay! Yay. Tomorrow's the last day of content, but then we have 2 more days of lives, yeah? If you guys know that. Awesome. Always remember, ladies, that health is not a size. It's a feeling. Let's get you feeling good. Love you all. Have a great day. Bye.